is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman, and guys, the southern border is about to explode. We got this story from Timcast. Biden administration to release migrants into the U.S. with no way of tracking them. Officials are implementing the policy as a wave of 700,000 migrants are expected to rush the U.S. southern border when Title 42 expires on May 11th. With one day left before the expiration of Title 42, a Trump-era policy that allows the U.S. to quickly expel illegal immigrants, the Biden administration is preparing a memo directing U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents to release migrants into the U.S. without court dates and without the ability to track them, according to three sources who spoke with NBC News. Previously, when faced with overcrowding issues at detention facilities, the administration had released migrants through an Alternatives to Detention Case Management pilot program, which required migrants to check in on a mobile app until they receive a court date, NBC reported. Right, because they have every reason to check in with you after they've already been released into the country, and there's no way you can find them. Makes sense, right? Totally. Going forward, there will be no tracking of individuals who cross the U.S. southern border illegally, become apprehended by authorities, and then are released into the interior of the country. Why are they released into the interior of the country? Why can't we just throw them back across the southern border? Say, go back that way. You're not welcome here. On May 10th, CBP agents captured more than 10,300 migrants who crossed illegally, which marks the highest single-day total in U.S. history. That number is expected to rise once Title 42 ends tomorrow, as more than 700,000 illegal aliens are waiting in Mexico to cross the U.S. southern border. We're already breaking and we haven't hit the starting line, according to an official with the Department of Homeland Security who spoke anonymously with NBC. A DHS spokesperson said the updated policy will only apply to illegal aliens who have been vetted. Let's be honest, that's not true. These facilities are going to be so overcrowded that they're going to have no choice but to release more people, as Republican and Democrat administrations alike have done in the past to protect the safety and security of Border Patrol agents and migrants in the event of severe overcrowding conditions. U.S. Border Patrol sectors may consider the use of parole for certain migrants who have undergone strict national security and public safety vetting, spokesperson told NBC. Each parolee will be considered on an individualized case-by-case basis, and individuals who are released will be required to check in with Immigration and Customs Enforcement and undergo removal proceedings in immigration court. That's not going to happen. They're just not going to show up as they're doing right now. The targeted use of parole will allow Border Patrol to focus its resources on most effectively, quickly processing and removing individuals who do not have a legal basis to remain in the country, they added. Let's be honest, guys. None of these people are going to be deported. All of these people are going to be released into the country. That's just what's going to happen. That's what's been happening for years now under the Biden administration. At least back in under Donald Trump, he was trying to do something about it. He was trying to stop it. But ultimately, all of these people are going to be released into the country. There's nothing that these Border Patrol agents can do. Joe Biden has gotten his way. And what his way is people coming across, women and children coming across the Darien Gap down in South America. And those women and children will be raped. They will be sexually assaulted. They will be molested in every way possible by possibly hundreds of different cartel members along the way as they try their best to reach this country. However, if we would just freaking close the freaking border, then these people would know, oh, if I get all the way up there, they're not going to let me in. So I just won't even try. And all those women and children that are coming across the Darien Gap right now will instead stay home and not get raped over 100 times. I mean, my goodness, guys. I shared this with you guys in a previous video of mine. There was a child that had come across the southern border and had been given a rape kit. I believe they found over 40 different DNA samples from over 40 different men inside this 8-year-old girl. This is what's happening at our southern border. And I'm sorry, if you're a Democrat, you must support that. You must like children getting raped, don't you? Don't you? Or else you would be against what is happening at the southern border. But no, you support it. You support it either way. Biden, of course, supports it. Of course, you know, he might be a pedo himself, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. That's a story for another day, possibly. But, guys, this is getting out of hand. This is getting way out of hand. 700,000 people. I don't know. Like, I want to check something. I want to check something. How many soldiers invaded on D-Day? Let's check this out. Almost 133,000 troops from the United States, the British Commonwealth, and their allies landed on D-Day. So the D-Day invasion of France in World War II was 133,000 soldiers. Okay? We are about to be lambasted with 700,000 people invading our country. And we have no idea who they are. We have no way of tracking them as they just get released into the country. We have no idea if they are terrorists, if they are cartel members, if they are, child sex traffickers. We have no idea. I mean, my goodness, there was just an immigrant. Actually, I don't know if he was an immigrant. Don't quote me on that. But there was a Hispanic man who, in the state of Texas, used his Land Rover to run over eight immigrants at a facility, at an immigration facility. He ran over a bunch of immigrants and killed 8 of them. Guys, the situation at the southern border is getting out of hand. And of course, the Democrats, because, they're not out here, they're not on the southern border, they don't actually give a crap. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not their problem. This is the reason why Abbott has been sending illegal immigrants to these Democrat cities. He's been sending them to Chicago. He's been sending them to New York. He sent them, I believe DeSantis sent them out to Martha's Vineyard, where Obama lives, if you might know. It's because he wants them to see, hey, if you can't so much as handle this small amount of immigrants, what do you think we're going through every day? He wants them to be forced to face the situation that they are causing Texans and Arizonans and New Mexicans New Mexicans and Californians to go through every single day. New Mexicans, goodness gracious. English is hard apparently today, guys. But yeah, guys. I mean, do you guys fully understand how these immigrants are getting from their homes in North or Central or South America? Do you understand how they're getting from their homes to the southern border in the first place and across the southern border? Guys, they are going to the cartels and they are saying, hey, we want to be trafficked essentially to the southern border. Okay? Many of these people do not have the money to pay the cartels for this service. So the cartel takes the payment in other ways. Essentially, what they do is they will either turn these people into slaves if they are men or young boys, or usually if they are a woman or a young girl, they will just rape you as many times as they want as they take you up to the southern border. As many times as they want. Guys, this is disgusting. This is absolutely insane that we would allow this to happen at our southern border. We're supposed to be the greatest nation in the country, greatest nation in the world, right? Greatest nation in the world. Yet we allow this to happen at our southern border. But of course, the Democrats don't care. Democrats don't care about women. These Democrats don't care about these immigrants. All they care about is voter power at the end of the day. And no, I'm not saying that immigrants are voting in elections, even though in some cases they are. What happens is they bring in these illegal immigrants and they spread them all over the country to specific states that they want, okay? California, New York, Texas, whatever. And the reason they do that is because they want to build up the population of those states so that on the census they will have they will have a larger population on the census, because the census doesn't count just citizens. It counts everybody that's living there. This is why Donald Trump, whenever he was in office, wanted to put a question on the census saying, are you a U.S. citizen or not? Which, of course, anyone could just lie, but, whatever. But when the census comes out and the states have a larger population of people, they get more electoral votes in elections. The higher the population that you have, the more electoral votes you get. Guys, they are using this to gain power in our elections and to take away the power of other states who have smaller populations. This is what is happening at our southern border. They are using it to rule our elections, and they do not care how it gets done. They do not care about these children that are being sexually trafficked. They do not care about the women that are being raped hundreds of times as they move their way up to the southern border. They don't care. Stop pretending like Democrats care about women and children. They don't. They don't. They murder children in the womb. They castrate them if they think that they're transgender, using chemicals or just genital mutilation, sex changes. And then these immigrant children coming up to the southern border will be raped hundreds of times, and the U.S. does not care. If they did, they would close the southern border because they don't not want these people to even think that they would get in if they came up here. But no, they want the rape to continue. They want the sex trafficking of children to continue. They want the slavery to continue. Yes, many of these people that do not have the money to pay these cartels, especially if they are men or young boys, they will be sent into the country, but they will still be required to do slave labor for the cartels after they are in the country. Or they will be required to work and send all of their money to the cartels in order to pay off their debt. Essentially slavery. Guys, there is slavery, there is sex trafficking, and there is rape, there are murders, there is drug trafficking happening at our border on unprecedented levels. And you have to step up to stop this. You have to step up, call your reps, and say, hey, if you don't fix this, we're going to primary you. We're going to primary you. We're going to destroy your career in every way possible if you do not fix the southern border. Do it or you're done. Period. All right, guys. I'm going to have another story coming for you guys in just a second. But before I do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section and share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description after this video is over, of course. Now, from Fox News, the Biden family received millions from foreign nationals, tried to conceal the source of funds. The House Oversight Committee has said. The House Oversight and Accountability Committee says the Biden family and its business associates created more than 20 companies and received more than $10 million from foreign nationals while Joe Biden served as vice president, and that some of these payments could indicate attempts by the Biden family to peddle influence. Committee Chairman James Comer, a Republican from Kentucky, released a memo ahead of his press conference Wednesday that includes new information from his investigation into the Biden family's influence peddling and business schemes. The memo said the Biden family appeared to take steps to conceal the source and total amount received from the foreign companies. The committee has subpoenaed 4 different banks as part of its probe and received thousands of records in response. Those subpoenas were tailored to specific individuals and companies that alleged in business activities with Biden family members and their business associates, the memo said. It said Biden family members and business associates created a web of over 20 companies. Most were limited liability companies formed during Joe Biden's vice presidency. The committee said those companies were formed mostly in Delaware and Washington, D.C., with the help of Hunter Biden's business partners Rob Walker and James Gilliar. After assuming the vice presidency in 2009, records revealed Hunter Biden and his business associates formed at least 15 companies, the memo said. Those companies include Lion Hall Group, LLC, Owasco, PC, Robinson, a bunch of company names, basically. Bank records show the Biden family, their business associates, and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals companies, the memo said, adding that the committee identified payments to Joe Biden family members from foreign companies while Joe Biden served as vice president and after he left public office. The Biden family used business associates companies to receive millions of dollars from foreign companies, the memo said, adding that the Biden family received incremental payments over time to different bank accounts. Guys, you get the point. We essentially knew that Joe Biden was incredibly corrupt, but at this point, with everything that we're seeing, with all of the corruption that has come out in this story, Joe Biden might literally be the most corrupt person in United States government history. This is insane. This level of corruption, all of this stuff is easily used to subvert our government. Check this out. In some instances, Biden associates would receive significant deposits from foreign sources into their bank accounts and then transfer smaller incremental payments to Biden bank accounts, the memo said. These complicated and seemingly unnecessary financial transactions appear to be concerted effort to conceal the source and total amount received from the foreign companies. This man is controlled opposition. He's being controlled by these other countries. What else are we supposed to assume? He's being controlled. These other companies from all over the world, these other countries are sending him money and saying, hey, do this for us. Help us out. Scratch our backs and we'll give you money. I mean, that's all we can assume from this. Check this out. Let's continue reading. It said Chinese nationals and companies with significant ties to Chinese intelligence and the Chinese Communist Party hid the source of the funds by layering domestic limited liability companies. This obviously means that he's a Chinese spy. Obviously. Totally. This proves it. I'm just doing exactly what they did to Trump. He's obviously a Chinese asset, obviously. He's taking money from him, I mean, my goodness, even Trump didn't have that. Think about this. They had zero proof of Trump being a Russian asset, but they screamed from the high heavens that he was. Then you get this guy who's literally receiving money from the Chinese, and it's being covered up by Chinese intelligence, and we're not going to say that he's a Chinese asset? Guys, this hurts my brain. Let's continue reading because, the Chinese committee said it is investigating the opaque corporate structure of particular Biden-affiliated companies. Those companies complicated connections with each other, whether these companies maintained books and records, and why certain foreign nationals sought to partner with and engage in business with specific Biden family members and their companies. It said it already sees signs that the Biden family may have collected money from foreign nationals trying to influence U.S. policy. For example, the committee said it discovered that Hunter Biden, through his associate Rob Walker, received more than $1 million from a foreign company reportedly controlled by Gabriel Popoviciu. That's a difficult name. Whoever you are, I'm sorry if I, butchered your last name, even though I don't really care. The subject of a criminal probe and the prosecution for corruption in Romania. He's a Romanian guy. Okay, that makes sense. Then Vice President Biden met with Romanian leaders in 2014 and 2015 regarding corruption in the country. Guys, you get the point. Ultimately, our government is corrupt. Our government is corrupt as mess. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I mean, shoot, you got this guy, you got Santos that may have lied his way into office, which, I mean, of course the freaking media was blasting that all over the freaking airwaves yesterday, but they conveniently left out this story. You know, at least most of the media did. Fox News, of course, covered it, but there was very few media organizations that actually covered this story about Biden. But Santos was just getting absolutely lambasted all over the interwebs yesterday. Absolutely insane. But guys, ultimately, this is not going to stop until we do something about it. I'm sorry. Like, the government is not going to regulate themselves. They're not. They're not going to give up power. We have to force them to do so. They're not going to stop being corrupt. They're not. You got Nancy Pelosi with her insider trading. You got Republicans, of course, who do insider trading as well. You got, obviously the Biden family is extremely corrupt, taking money from foreign assets so that they can manipulate U.S. politics. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane corruption. But we have to do something about it. Guys, we need to be contacting our reps, our state legislatures. We need to be contacting our state legislatures and saying, hey, we want a convention of states. We need a convention of states so that we can reel in the corruption and the power hungry, the power greediness of the federal government. The federal government has become far too bloated, has become far too big, and the only way that it's really going to be able to be reeled in and shore up this power hungriness of the federal government is if we do a convention of states. Now, I believe you need 34 states to be able to agree in order to do a convention of states, and then they come together, and then you would need 38 states to agree on passing an amendment to the Constitution. I mean, we need term limits for all members of Congress. We need term limits for everybody, really, for the entire bureaucracy. Everyone who's involved in the federal government needs to have a term limit of at least 8 years, or at most 8 years. For example, if you're an FBI agent, you should only be allowed to be in the FBI for 8 years. It's the way I see it. You should only be allowed to you don't just get to sit in there for, 40 years and just accrue power and just gain power over your administration. That's not how this should work. You get 8 years, and then you're done, and you can go work somewhere else. Guys, this is something that we need. We need to be able to completely destroy the ability of Congress members to do insider trading. Congress members and their spouses should not be able to hold private stock. That's just reality, guys. These are things that we need in this country, but the federal government's not going to do it themselves. You have to do it. We got to do it, guys. We need to be contacting our reps saying, this is what we want. Do it, or you'll get primaried in the next election, and we will destroy your career. That's what we have to do at this point. I mean, that sucks that we have to do that. It sucks that we have to go to that lengths just to get what we need in this country from our government. But that's the reality of the world we live in right now. Like I just said, you kind of just have to throw your hands up and say, well, the government's corrupt. Let's go to work to fixing it. That's all we can do, man. We got to go to work. We got to put in the work to fix the problems of the federal government, but it's not going to happen unless we can get a convention of states, and you need to be putting in your support. You need to be contacting your reps and saying, hey, you need to support a convention of states. This is what we need. This is what we want. Make it happen, or we'll destroy your career. It's a very threatening thing to get primaried. It really is. These people you got to understand, these people want power. These people want power, and they'll do anything to keep their power. So if 1,000 of their voters come along and say, hey, fix this, or we're going to primary you and destroy your career and make sure that you are embarrassed in front of the entire country and in front of the entire world, they'll say, oh, I should probably fix this. It's that simple, guys. But the people have to have the wherewithal to do it. You have to have the confidence. You have to have the gall, if you will. I would say something else, but it would be inappropriate. You have to have the cojones, guys, to do this. These are your rights that are being infringed upon. This is your country. Take it back. Fight back against this corruption. We need a convention of states. Let's make it happen. Get out there, get in the streets, protest, contact your reps. Let's make it happen, guys. That's going to be the show for today. I will have another show coming for you guys tomorrow, I believe. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. And follow me on Rumble so that we can fight back against the censorship that is happening here on YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.